I'm Scotland Hazley, President and founder of Animal Rescue Corps. The team and I are here on the ground in Florida. You know, I say all the time, every aspect of a disaster is a disaster. It's utter chaos.
Hurricane Irma came right over the top of us here in Wauchula, Florida. I was activated, so I'm at the PD, and it was pretty scary. Everything comes in a storm like this. Whatever you can imagine you would need out here after something like this.
We lost power. It was really getting a struggle with this heat. We had puppies that we were having to give IV fluids to, kittens overheating. The heat was really becoming a real problem.
You know, it's hard to tell before the storm who's going to need it and who's not, because you don't know exactly where the storm is going to go. Lined out the state and looked at the different counties to see which ones were going to be the hardest hit, and then I started making phone calls.
We were contacted Friday afternoon by AJ with ARC. She wanted to know if we had any shelter needs, and we did explain to her that our kennels were, in dire need of evacuation of the animals. We were, still in contact with her through everything, and she was the first one to check on us after Hurricane Irma. Before we had spoke to AJ, we had reached out. We spoke to the University of Florida, and we'd also tried making contact with the Humane Society of the United States. We're Central Florida, we're in the middle of nowhere, and we had a big need. We were one of the hardest hit. We had the eye come right through our county, and so we're pretty happy that ARC was able to help us out. Being a small shelter, we get overlooked. There's no Humane Society in our county. The resources are very small. To have this large scale, it means the world to us.
I am the only animal control staff here. I clean my own kennels, clean my own cages. Obviously, with an outside facility, I had to do something with my animals. One of the retired commissioners took 9 cats and one of my dogs, and the rest went to my house.
With most of our operations, whether it's shutting down a dogfighting operation or rescuing animals from a puppy mill, there's a great deal of structure from the beginning to end. With a hurricane, or any natural disaster, at what point do you get that structure, right? Because you're walking into chaos and devastation. Quite honestly, we didn't know what we were going to find until we got here.
It's been really eye-opening how people are so affected by it, and their homes are just absolutely destroyed. There's nothing on the shelves, no food. Water is really hard to find, so to see someone come in and just be so grateful for a bag of dog food, it's a really heartwarming feeling, and yet heartbreaking at the same time.
As of now, we're working with 4 different shelters, both municipal and private. We've been assisting the Lee County Animal Services. Their staff had been working around the clock pre-hurricane in preparation of the hurricane. Many of them have had devastation to their homes, but they've been working around the clock to care for animals at their animal shelter, as well as the public human animal shelters, where people have been evacuated to go with their animals. And first thing we could do is relieve them. So we put team members in those shelters. Meanwhile, we are in the process of unloading multiple shelters. From there, we'll be moving on to other shelters, giving them the necessary relief.
This past week was a very hectic one, no power. Trying to get animals out prior to the storm was very hectic. Trying to get people out prior to the storm. We were out of power. We did hook up on our generator, but then our generator went out for some reason. So we didn't have vaccines, we didn't have our food delivery. Staff has been working from last Thursday prior to the storm till today, almost a good week, round the clock. Their houses were without power, they don't have food, they had not had rest. Now we're seeing more animals being brought into the shelter. Our animals that we had in adoption, we had to get out because now our adoption center is closed to allow more room for the animals that are coming in after the storm. We just don't have the space to hold the adoptable animals in here. They pulled a lot of animals from us. It's definitely opened up a whole new stray area for us to house some more animals that are coming in after this storm. They've been a godsend for us.
The animals we got from this rescue operation, both Harvey and Irma, these are animals that were While they were greatly affected by the storm, they weren't homeless as a result of the storm. They were homeless pre-storm. However, there were so many animals that were left homeless as a result of these storms that it was important to get them to safety so that the space is made in these existing shelters.
So starting on Saturday, when we left here on Saturday, which is when the winds started picking up, when we were all done securing everybody, we left a crew of folks here. Several of my staff with their families evacuated to here. Once I knew that a Category 4 or 5 storm was heading this way, I was reaching out to every organization I could reach out to, just knowing that we needed to be ready in case there was any structural damage to the building to get our animals out. Thank God we didn't. We had over a dozen trees fall, none fell in the building, so we have minimal structural damage. So now what we're doing with ARC is they're emptying us out so that now we can go and help out our community partners. A couple hours ago, I was having to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Now I can say, I've got the space, come on over, we can help you.
In the case of Harvey and Irma, what we've been providing is pretty much everything, runs the gamut from bringing in necessary food and water supplies for the animals. We've been staffing shelters, we've been providing transports, we've been providing field rescues. Animal Rescue Corps is fully equipped to provide any resource necessary to any community that has the need. Had to bring in dozens of volunteers down to address the issues of the storm. So what we've been doing is putting people on shifts.
I left this morning from the East Coast in Delray. From here, I'm going to Tennessee to transport these guys. We're affected over there. We have floods, we're out of electricity, trees, everything. A couple houses have been smashed. Yeah, I did leave a lot there, but my favorite rescue. I mean, they have the compassion like no other place has ever had. And it's always been my dream to work with them. Even though I'm just transporting the animals, I love doing this. I love the animals.
When I turned around and looked and seen y'all coming up the road, I almost couldn't believe it because nobody else could help us. Hurricane Irma came right over the top of us. High winds, I mean, our feed room, it got blown in, so all the new food we just got wet. I mean, the dogs are out here. It's extremely hot after a big storm like this. You know, the high pressure and low pressure systems, it's miserable outside right now. You guys are a sight for sore eyes.
We're here till noon the day Hurricane Irma hit, taking in dogs all day. We're a small shelter, so on a good day we're pretty full, but there's still a lot of people surrendering animals and there's still a lot of people calling in strays. So we still have a lot of field work. Y'all coming to get these animals is going to free up space for us to go out in the field and to help more animals in need.
My issue came prior to the storm. I got really slammed to where I was juggling animals. I had right around 50 calls for animal control. I usually get 3 to 5 a week. I got 50. I was contacted by Animal Rescue Corps wanting to help. It's a blessing that they've come in and they're driving away with all my babies, saving my animals. When you have a dog here that's been here over 500 days that you could not find anyone that wanted to adopt him, and y'all willingly took him on. So, only thing I can say at this point is thank you. Whatever made y'all come this way is a blessing for me.
By the next day, we had crews of people. The majority of those people didn't have power, but they were here. And I think that just speaks volumes because, you know, animals bring people together, and we really saw that.
Animal Rescue Corps and the Bissell Pet Foundation have worked together for years now. With their financial support, we've collectively made the promise to hundreds of animals that their suffering has ended and they will soon live as a beloved member of the family.